Hello, I'm reviewing. This is my review on Fantastic Four from 2015, the failed reboot from Fox. I enjoyed this movie. I give this a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed the movie like I enjoyed Bryan Singer's X-Men movie, the first one. From 2000, X-Men movie. I enjoyed it that much. Instead of taking inspiration from the comics this time, this movie is kind of like the first X-Men movie. It's trying to avoid the comic book elements for the die-hard fans. That is trying to avoid the Fantastic Four movie is sort of like Bryan Singer's Fantastic X-Men run for his first two X-Men movies is what I think of this movie, Fantastic Four. As in, it's loosely outside of the name, nothing outside of the naming title of the brand that based off the comic book that is based on. It doesn't have anything in common with the X-Men. The thing is about Bryan Singer's X-Men run. Like from X-Men from the comics, it's like it doesn't really have anything in common with the other X-Men you know and love with the X-Men brand. With anything. Nothing feels recognizable like the X-Men from the comics except for Wolverine. He's the one that's recognizable in the X-Men movies was from Bryan Singer. Hence, the only good thing probably about the X-Men characters is the Hugh Jackman's character from the old X-Men movies. Probably because not only they're radically different from the Bryan Singer's reimagining, is radically different from the comic book X-Men, but also his X-Men is also radically more bland than the comic book Persona X-Men's personalities that we know and love from the comics, like Cyclops, that goes for Cyclops, Rogue, Jean, and all of the other X-Men except for Professor X. That's Charles. Also, Wolverine calls him Chuck in the comics and the movies. Sometimes he calls him Chuck. Charles. And so I like this Fantastic Four movie like I like the Bryan Singer X-Men movie, as in it's very sacrilegious to the comic book name of the X-Men. Bryan Singer's X-Men movie for his first two X-Men feels like a sacrilegious thing to call it X-Men because they're nothing like the X-Men for the comics team. It's just like a sacrilegious to call this movie a Fantastic Four movie because they're nothing like the Fantastic Four like from the comics. They're just radically different reimaginations to the point they're not really recognizable like the old four members from the comics. But they have this more dark, gritty edge to them that makes you that they incorporate in this movie. That makes you question as a comic book fan why, but it's cool if you're not a comic book fan. I guess it has some cool ideas, it has really cool action stuff, weird stuff. And some dark imagery in this movie. That shot sometimes made it look like a horror disturbing film. Sort of like when the floor gets that house, it's like truly a horror film. It kind of reminded me how Bryan Singer would direct the X-Men movies when they would just gain their powers, and he would shoot like a horror movie, like he did with Rogue in the opening of the first X-Men movie. That's what this movie feels like it's taking inspiration from. The first two X-Men movies, Bryan Singer's ones. Josh Trank's 2015's Fantastic Four is an interesting reimagination that I kind of dug. Short-lived, but I enjoyed it, but I'm not heartbroken about it. But I don't think we're gonna get a better Fantastic Four movie than from Marvel Studios, because I think it's going to suck. This is a guess, so I just have a gut feeling about that. Fantastic Four movie called Fantastic Four First Steps is by Marvel Studios. The first installment to that Fantastic Four movie hasn't come out yet, but that's the official title I found out on the internet and YouTube, and not hyped for it. I'd rather see a sequel to this one, or a third installment to the Fox franchise with Jessica Alba and Michael Chiklis as a thing, and John Cena as the Human Torch, played by Chris Evans, and the other guy, I forget his other name. Okay, the other actor that plays Mr. Fantastic in the other Fantastic Four run from that Fox canceled in favor of this movie. And they probably should have made a third Fantastic Four movie to that movie. I think that would have been a safer financial bet. But maybe that couldn't happen because, you know, when this came out around the when Chris Evans was still in the MCU movies, still making more of those. As Captain America, it's his Captain America, so maybe that's why they went with a reboot. And that's my thoughts on Josh Trank's Fantastic Four from 2015, directed by him. I enjoyed his vision, his final project. I wish it was a little longer, but I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Then again, I wish the first X-Men movie was a little longer. So I give that a 10 out of 10 also. The first X-Men movie also. And I love that movie, and I love this movie because it reminds me a lot like Bryan Singer's first X-Men movie. And X-Men 2 United, it reminded me of. They're also directed by Bryan Singer. This Josh Trank reimagining of Fantastic Four from Fox Studios. That's why I give it a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoy the overly serious, dramatic tones it took with the story, and I like the story it told. I like Doctor Doom's reimagining of Doctor Doom. I like how Doctor Doom just slaughters a bunch of people, just brutally murders a bunch of people in a PG-13 movie. He massacres a bunch of people. Pretty brutal. It's so awesome. Like, it's the kind of awesome violence you expect to see in R-rated superhero villain action. The violence that Doom commits. Because it's that cool. I enjoy this movie still. Doom's not in it a whole lot until a third act, like the end, because that's when the four need to come together and work together to defeat him. So I enjoy this movie. I say we go see this. If you ever see it find it on your streaming service, check it out. It's 2015 Fantastic Four reboot by Fox and directed by Josh Trank. I enjoy this. I get a 10 out of 10. It was fun to me. I recommend this movie. It's genius and it's fun. Genius, goofy fun. It's not as good as the first one from 2005. Or is it? I'm not sure. I like the first one from 2005 and all, but I also like this one from 2015. I'm not sure which one I like more. 2005, Fantastic Four, the original one, or reboot? They're both pretty good. It's tough. Yeah, I'll give it a tie. That's a tie for me, okay? Which one I like more? I like both a lot. Why I'm giving both? Franchise pretty good. I enjoyed both movies. I enjoyed Fantastic Four movie from 2015, directed by Josh Trank. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's monkeys, silly fun. Monkeys, silly sci-fi action fun. It feels like. It's so much fun. This movie was. I enjoyed it. I did, and I enjoyed the more bleak. I enjoyed the tone. It went for the most serious tone. It went for. It was nice. I enjoyed it. So, and that's all I gotta say. Why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Fantastic Four. That's why I give it a 10 out of 10. Okay. That's my review on the Fantastic Four movie from 2015. And like this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button by hitting the bell first, and then hit the subscribe button in that order. Like my older videos, you can check out my older videos, and share my content, and like this video and like my older videos. Goodbye.